All right, everyone, looking at the upper body weight push movements. So we're going to be looking at the press up. We're going to be looking at the strict press up in particular. So by strict, I mean we've got our hands shoulder width apart, elbows coming low. I'm not going out here with a wide old school press up. So when I'm down on the floor, hands about shoulder width apart. I want my shoulders directly above my hands, so I don't want to be back here either. For comfort, you can either have your fingers going straight forwards, or you can turn your palms out slightly with your thumbs going forwards. So I'm going to go for here, because that's my comfort position. I'm going to lift up onto my toes. I'm trying to keep a nice neutral spine, so I'm not going to look up too high, but I am just going to look at this blue line here, because that's going to keep my chin up. When I do the press up itself, I need to make sure my elbows are facing the right way, so I'm not going to have my elbows turned out like this, which would make my elbows come out. I'm going to turn them down, because now when I do that press up, my elbows come straight past my sides, back up to there. So you can see there's very little gap between my elbows and my ribs. Pushing up from here. I'm trying to remain nice and neutral with the movement, so I want everything to move in one. So I'm not going to allow my chest to come up first, like a seal press up. And I also don't want to leave my hips up in the air either, so I don't want to end up sat backwards, going to there. That's going to put a lot of pressure on my elbow. So looking at it from the side point of view, hands about shoulder width apart. I'm going to turn my fingers out a little bit, lifting up onto my toes, looking forwards ever so slightly, coming down, elbows nice and close to my ribs, and back up from there. So I'm not going to go wide, which can put a lot of pinching on the shoulder, and the shoulder width apart from here. Again, I don't want to do a seal press up, so I want everything to come up in one strict movement. I don't want to leave my hips down on the floor and lift up separately. I don't want to sit back and do a press up there, because that'll put so much pressure on the elbow. That'll cause quite a lot of pain there. So again, lean forward, try and get your chest between your hands. Up from there. If that's too difficult, and it might be, that's probably going to be harder for most people than your traditional wide press up, because it allows more movement. What I'm going to do is just use my knees. Simplest way to get into the correct kneeling press up position. I'm going to get into a normal press up position and literally just drop straight down there. I'm still getting everything down in one movement. People overcomplicate the kneeling press up by trying to get it into it from here, and it ends up being more like a bow with the hips still up in the air. So if I get onto my toes, drop my knees straight down, I can work that press up from there. If I want to make that easier, because that is a harder variation of the press up, so I could put my hands on a physical incline like this. I'd put the heel of my hand against the bench, and I would just do it from standing, obviously. Still strict movement, so elbows down, looking forward slightly from there. That's much easier for me. We could also use a pair of kettlebells. That works in the exact same way, but it's a smaller incline. So they need to be slightly wider than shoulder width apart. I'm going to put my thumbs on one side, fingers on the other, so it's comfortable. I can do this on my toes or on my knees, so I'm going to come down, stop, back up. If I do it on my knees, it's the exact same. Again, I am going to stop before my shoulders get to the handle here, so it's the same range of movement as a normal press up. If I went lower, that would be an increased range of movement. That's going to make it much, much harder. So that would be a progression, not a regression. So be careful which depth you use if you are going to use a pair of kettlebells. That's the press up. Nice and simple. Thanks for watching.